Welcome to the Mnet Movies Monthly Roundup. I'm Spling, and I am joined by Matthew Kalil, who is a dear friend of mine and also someone that you need to know about, who is in the South African film industry with so much experience from across the board. He is a person of note. He has done it all. Yeah, he's been to Iowa, but there was a reason for it.
There was.
And something that I'm very envious of, and that's being at the David Lynch Film School, a screenwriting guru with a book called The Three Wells of Screenwriting. He has done lectures all over the world, and he is a filmmaker at heart, and he has read a lot of great scripts and a lot of horrendous scripts.
Yes, and I've also written a few great scripts, and probably one or two horrendous ones which will stay at the bottom of the cupboard and never be seen. But it's really good to be here, Spling.
So, folks, we're going to be talking about the Fan Favorites Festival. That's happening this October on Mnet Movies 2. And that festival has been curated by the voters themselves because they got to choose which films are going to be part of that. There's 25 films that you can catch on Mnet Movies 2. And we are going to be talking about my favorite 10 of those 25.
Fantastic. Yeah, and you've shared them with me. They're all very diverse, very different.
Whether you're going on DSTV Stream or you have a decoder and Mnet at home, that's where you get it. Before we launch into that, I wanted to chat to you about your book, The Three Wells of Screenwriting.
Yeah, so thanks, Spling. Yeah, my book, The Three Wells of Screenwriting, was written a few years ago, and it just came about because I noticed that a lot of people really struggled when they were being creative, in the creative process, in the moment, to create stuff that was meaningful, insightful, deep, and kind of specific to them. And the point of the book is to write the kind of scripts that only you could write, and very specific to your experience and life experience. Not writing from your life, but using your experiences in the world to create in a way. And the basic premise is there's three different wells we draw from when we create. The first one is the external sources well. We draw from other movies we've seen. The second one is the imagination well. We make it up. And the third one is the memory well. We draw from our own personal memories.
Yeah, I read the book and I really loved it in the way that it gets you to approach things from a different angle. Sometimes you will be looking at a scene with a very fixed idea, like I think you even reference this in the book itself, where you're talking about funerals and how when you watch a Hollywood movie, most funerals have got a very similar, it's almost like a genre in and of itself.
Yeah, if I say to anyone listening now, just think for a second about what you imagine when you think about a funeral, and I promise you, some of you are thinking of green grass, graves, rain, people with umbrellas, cars, somebody with a little Bible, like a little kind of a hole with people dropping sand on from their hands. All these kind of cliches that we've seen in many, many movies. But it doesn't have any resonance. It doesn't have anything that really moves you. But if you think about your own life and funerals you've been to, I bet you could drag some really interesting stuff up that's really moving. And that's sort of the point of the book in a nutshell.
So what I'm going to be doing now is from the film that is at number 10 to the top-rated film, we're going to be chatting about what's coming up at the Fan Favorites.
And I'll be jumping in and seeing when I agree. And
I hope you do. Please challenge me. So right at number 10, we have got My Girl, which is a film starring Anna Chomsky and Macaulay Culkin, who blew up with Home Alone and had such a great childhood actor kind of thing happening back then in the 90s.
Yeah, and in this one he's got a lot more emotional depth, I think, than in Home Alone. And this one is one of these films that they don't make anymore. They don't make films like this where it's kind of really feel good. There's no clear antagonist. It's just kind of nostalgia for an America that doesn't exist anymore, possibly, but maybe never existed. It's really sweet. Sweet is the word, and wholesome and coming of age, but really funny as well, like really kind of hilarious moments.
It's set in 1972. It's about a girl called Veda, and she is the daughter of a mortician who has a funeral parlor, and after her mom dies, she becomes very preoccupied with death. Obviously, being in a funeral parlor, there's going to be a lot of that. And it stars Dan Aykroyd and Jamie Lee Curtis. Next up, we have number 9, 300 Rise of an Empire. This is obviously the follow-on from 300, the Frank Miller graphic novel adaptation that caught everyone's imagination, and the ridiculously ripped abs.
And it's really fun in terms of the Frank Miller adaptation. And what's interesting for me about this is that it's this graphic novel into movies, which you can only do with CG at that time. It was really like the director could have a vision of something and really create it on the screen, almost paint on the screen. Then this is the one.
I think if you try to think of a film that is just macho, if you had to think of a film that is totally macho, this would be the film I would think of.
Yeah. For me, it's the Fast and the Furious, but it's got a similar vibe.
And it's got Gerard Butler, who sort of blew up in this film. I mean, before this, who was he? And then playing King Leonidas, and obviously, "This is Sparta."
Yeah. These classic lines, classic moments.
He just kind of blew up. I mean, that set his career in motion, and now he's this king of action movies and continues to do them. He's in Kandahar this month, and he's also in Last Seen Alive. So he's got 2 films showing beyond this, but he isn't actually in 300 Rise of an Empire. It's a guy named Sullivan Stapleton who takes the lead in this. And we've also got Eva Green. So it's one of these follow-ons that actually basically takes it to the sea.
Yeah.
It's a standoff between the Grecians and Persians. If you loved the first one, there's a lot more of that blood, gore, action extravaganza, and done in such an art house style. And then we have, at number 8, Bad Boys, Ride or Die. Now, that is a franchise that's been going for an age. I remember the first one, Michael Bay sort of kickoff. And obviously the chemistry between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith continues.
Absolutely. It's almost to the point now where they're riffing off the franchise. They're almost becoming self-aware in the movie of that they're in a franchise, and they're almost referring to themselves as characters in a way.
Yeah, that self-deprecation and that sort of one-upmanship and that bromance thing that they've got working for them. They each had their own sitcoms at one point. Both are very charming guys with an incredible knack for comedy and timing. And they also are so versatile because here they are doing all the action. And we know Will Smith from that. Martin Lawrence, more sort of action comedy with Blue Streak and that kind of thing. But if you loved the Bad Boys 1, 2, and 3, this is them going rogue when their captain is framed for something and they wanted to try and clear his name.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's action-packed. It's relentless. It's breathless. It's everything you've loved about the previous Bad Boys movies rolled into one.
Yep, check it out.
Then we have Crazy Rich Asians, which is just such a fresh take on the Hollywood rom-com.
Yeah, it was very seminal when it came out in terms of representation as well, like representation of Asian people that were not stereotypes anymore in Hollywood, but very lush, and the visuals are so beautiful, and it's Singapore, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just so beautiful.
Having Constance Wu doing her thing as this woman from the States who is, there's that Prince and Me kind of movie.
Fish out of water as well.
Yeah, trying to meet the family, live up to expectations, and then having this wealthy property tycoon boyfriend who's introducing his girlfriend to the family. It's just so much fun, and it is just so clean and fresh and funny. So that was number 7. We're now moving down to number 6, King Kong. This is not the 1932 version.
2005?
This is the 2005 one. I just got to say, it's got 3 of my favorite actors. Adrian Brody, love his work. Jack Black.
Oh, he's great in this, yeah.
How the heck could they be in the same film?
I know. I think that Jack Black stands in actually for Peter Jackson, I think. He's sort of like a Peter Jackson stand-in.
You're actually right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely, you're spot on there. And then, of course, Naomi Watts. There's a tie-in here to what we were saying in the beginning. David Lynch, Mulholland Drive. That's where Naomi Watts made her big breakthrough.
Yeah.
But she is just a wonderful actress and does such a phenomenal job in this film as being the so-called damsel in distress.
Yeah, she's the Fay Wray replacement from the original King Kong.
And Peter Jackson had come off the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so this to me was kind of like a fun film that he'd
wanted to make it for years, apparently. Many years.
Much like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So another passion project, and you can see the love he's poured into this film.
You can see what I really like about it is the homage to the original one, but also just the way he's painting America in that time, the beautiful lushness of the images, and it's just beautiful. Every frame is beautiful. One of the things about this as well is it was pretty much like a director imagining anything you could imagine. It's like, okay, King Kong versus a T-Rex. Okay, great. Dinosaurs chasing him. Dinosaurs falling off cliffs. Like anything you could possibly imagine, and then they would just do it.
It really opened doors for him, the whole CG thing. I remember hearing about John Boorman, who made Excalibur, and he wanted to do Lord of the Rings, but at that time in 1981, they just didn't have the visual effects technology to actually carry the film.
Yeah.
So Peter Jackson kind of came in at the right time and definitely coasted on that wave. So we're into the top 5, and the next film is Batman Begins, from a little director by the name of Christopher Nolan, who's now become this monolithic force within the cinema world. So Batman Begins, I think, was quite a revolutionary film in superhero terms, because it was, like you said, gritty. It was like a crime epic, and I think Heat was one of the films, I think, that inspired The Dark Knight. But I think in terms of that scale of crime, thriller, it was really trying to ground superhero thing.
I think it's interesting. They're trying to ground it, but they still kept it fantasy. So Gotham is still a fantasy city, but it's still trying to be grounded.
And Christian Bale taking on the role of Batman, Morgan Freeman in there as well. So going for the cut above. He's always so clinical, and he's always so grand, and there's that sense of grandeur, and there's that balance between commercial appeal and art house aesthetic that he really gets so right with his films. Coming in at number 4 is a film that a lot of people listening to this are going to be like, what? You know, how could that be at number 4? Because this film is like the number 1 film for so many people, especially rugby players. It's a film about a general turned slave turned gladiator.
Called Gladiator.
It is one of the films that really sticks out for me. It's got such a haunting soundtrack and so powerful. The one theme from this film.
Yeah.
And then the line, what we do in life echoes in
To eternity.
To eternity.
Yeah.
Love that quote. So yeah, that film is just so epic. It's a sword and sandal film that is like one of the best.
Everything is perfect in this movie in terms of the production values. Really great. And the performances and the emotion of the characters and the story. It's like a smooth ride with quite a lot of blood and stabbing and all of that.
And then we have a film at number 3 that is so heartwarming. It's so uplifting. It's such a beautiful family film adventure. It's called E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
It's really Spielberg being Spielberg at the highest level, sort of post-Jaws. Yeah, just so well done. Every single moment is just so cinematic, but it's beautiful the way the storytelling unfolds in a really magical, mystical way.
The way I saw it, thinking back about it, is that this is kind of the story of a kid who brings home a stray dog.
Yeah.
Instead of a dog, we've got an alien, and how that all plays out in a much more personalized, how the alien anthropomorphizes.
It's a really clever movie, and actually, here's a fun fact for you if you want to watch it again. In the original one, the CIA agents all had guns at the end, and they were like threatening the kids with the guns. And in the later versions, they actually edited out the guns and turned them into walkie-talkies. And so it was like less threatening for kids.
At number 2, we have got one of my favorite films, at least in the top 20, I'd have to say. And that is The Matrix, with Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Lawrence Fishburne. What a wonderful film. What a mind-bending film. It really felt as though the Wachowskis did something here that's very similar to Ghost in the Shell. And then that choreography with the kung fu and gunslinging.
Yeah.
It just is so awesome. Because now if someone wears a coat and sunglasses...
then they're Neo. Yeah, exactly. And I think just so many things they did there. The bullet time thing, time slicing, they called it bullet time, where that special effect where you kind of, the camera like wraps around the action and it sort of freezes, and definitely changed cinema history in terms of what's possible with visual effects. And not just visual effects, but like, I guess the ballet of it all and how beautiful that is.
Yeah, it's quite funny with the CGI being so prominent in this, because it's talking about a world where it could be just programmed.
Yeah, we're all living in a simulation.
Yes. And so the handing over, the handshake that's happening with this film is quite interesting. We actually can create these dreams in these films and film as illusion, but turn it into something that's so real that, why couldn't we be in a bubble somewhere being a battery to someone? And how would we even know if that were the case?
Yeah, there's deep philosophical questions going on in this movie. And there's a Rage Against the Machine song at the end, which is always good.
Epic. And red or blue pill, you decide. There are such memorable scenes. I don't like
two choices. I like it's all on the spectrum for me between the red and the blue pill.
But there's such memorable scenes in this film, like when Agent Smith is interrogating Mr. Anderson, and his mouth like closes over.
Gosh, so good.
And when he reaches through the mirror and he's like being dragged into the Matrix.
And what's interesting about that is both of those things have, the mirror's Alice in Wonderland, the mouth being closed is like a Magritte painting, I think. So there's like, they're tapping into kind of real deep cultural history.
So, Matt, we're coming in for the number 1 film on this list. And I think a lot of people will agree with me when I say The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King is possibly the greatest fantasy film ever made.
Yeah, I would agree. I personally like the first Lord of the Rings the most. That was because I saw it in the cinema and it just blew me away. I saw it a few times in the cinema. I couldn't believe what they were doing at the time. I've watched all of these again recently and I'm still blown away by just everything they do. It's really just, this was such a perfect project for everyone involved.
It does seem as though, like, how could you possibly improve it?
No, exactly.
And Peter Jackson deciding to do all three at the same time to have that sense of continuity, and setting it in New Zealand where it's just so beautiful and just makes so much sense for this film. And also the fact that it's 4 hours long and it like doesn't feel 4 hours long. You're so wrapped up into this world.
The joke about it is that it's like this really long movie and stuff, but it doesn't feel like that at all when you watch it. I know you see Elijah Wood in the movie now and you're like, carry the ring, Frodo, no matter what he's doing, really.
It's almost worse than being a Bond. At least with the Bond films, you can go on for about 6 films before you have to throw in the towel. So, folks, that's it. That's the top 10. Matt didn't really, I think he was quite nice to me about my selection. He didn't really give me too much grief. Matt, thank you so much for joining me on the Mnet Movies Monthly Roundup. A little token of thanks is a book that you may have heard of called The Essence of Dreams, an Anthology of Film Reviews. It's a book that I've written.
Oh, fantastic.
There you go. And also a box of Manna Brew.
Awesome.
Which is mesquite, which is organically produced.
We need to try mesquite. This is the whole new rage.
It's a superfood espresso, basically, but I think you'll enjoy it.
Cool. I'll give it a try.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.